'Twas the blog after Christmas, and I'm not doing this again. It's time for episode 84, Weird My Newsroom, and now for this rhyming shall now end. So it's going to be a bit of a shorter week this week in terms of content, as there's a few pieces of new releases, a few trailers, and news stories for this week to be the final Weird Mind of 2024. So let's waste time for this, and let's get to see what will be out for the last week of this year in all things media. Wahey! It's time to start the last new releases for the year with a cracking new film that sees the return of one of the most beloved duos of the big and small screen, all done in plasticine, with their last outing being over 16 years ago, and their first feature film that's nearly turning 20 years old in the new year, as everyone's favourite cheese-loving inventor and the silent but faithful dog are back again with the all-new film Wallace and Gromit: Vengeance Most Foul. The film will see Gromit become concerned about Wallace's dependency of his inventions when it comes to life from his latest creation of a smart gnome system. However, it soon becomes a concern when an old enemy returns and takes control of the new invention to do his bidding in an act of revenge for a past situation. It's up to Gromit to save his owner, or else Wallace may never invent again. Reception to this new entry has been nothing but high praise, to the point of it sitting still with a perfect 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, with praise for its animation, its story, its humor, and tone of the film, and something to provide a real feel-good vibe in this day and age as a festive treat. Now, I've watched and even seen it when it came out in cinemas and saw it on Christmas Day, and I have to say, I was very excited for this new one, and it did not disappoint at all. And a review will probably be on the new year for this in particular, and is well worth the wait. And if you want to check it out for this cracking new adventure yourself, it's available to watch now in the UK and Ireland from the BBC and iPlayer, and will be dropping onto Netflix internationally next week on the 3rd of January. As for our second film of the week, is taking us to an all-new look and perspective to the realm of the biographical film, taking on one of the most successful and beloved musicians, but told in a more strange and unique formal way, as the director of The Greatest Showman is bringing a take on the life of a British music icon with the new film of Better Man. The film will tell the story of the life of Robbie Williams, on his life and career through his initial part of Take That, his dealings with hardships of life and addiction, and turning it around to become one of the most beloved and successful musicians in the industry, all while shown with the perspective of Robbie being portrayed as a monkey. Reception of this biofilm has also been very well received, with praise to performances and telling the life of a beloved singer and giving a bit of a shake-up to the usual biographical genre, similar to the recent, often kind of overlooked Pharrell Williams piece-by-piece film that was all done in Legos. And if you wanted someone to entertain you, you can catch this new biopic out now in cinemas. And the last new releases return to a series that had its troubles of getting made or produced for a long time, but finally got to be revealed to the world in all of its messed up bloody glory. It's time to put on the green jumpsuits and prepare to fight to survive as the games begin once again, as we receive the release of the second season of Squid Game. The plot this time around for this season will follow on from the first one, and we'll see Guy Hun on a desperate mission to expose the deadly truth of the competition after the effects of the hardened demeanor and the scars of the past games. Yet his warning will go unheeded at first, but soon tensions will soon rise as fellow players soon question his intentions. Reception to the new season is well received like the previous one, with praise to its continuing story, it's with more tension, bigger stakes, and much more deeper mystery being unraveled as the show heads to the conclusion. Though it has seen a bit of a complaint of feeling very dull in the middle part of the season, as well as the audience being a little more mixed compared to critics and to the first season's audience reception. But if you're up for new games and listen to it in a subbed form, then you can check it out now on Netflix, with the final season for also dropping some point in 2025. But with all of that, that's all the new releases that we have for this week and the last of this year. So we only have one trailer for this week, as with another take on a classic icon's life told through the power of cinema, as we have the focus to musical legend that has been the staple of music media for well over half a century, as we have received the final trailer for the upcoming film of a complete unknown. The film, of course, will focus on the early days and rising career of the musician of Bob Dylan, and this played by Timothée Chalamet, and focus as well on the controversial decision around his method of switching to electrically amplified instrumentation in the folk music scene. So as I've mentioned before in the past, I don't know much on the likes of the musician's life, though some of his music is pretty entertaining, and I feel for one I can tell that Chalamet seems like a good fit for the role. And I've heard some very decent reception from some of the big name critics from the States that have, because it's already out over there, I'd say while it's a by the numbers biopic, the main lead performance helps bring that appeal to the film. And it's a case instance to see how this all plays out. We don't have to wait too much long to see it for ourselves, as the film is currently out now in the US and will be released in a little under a month's time on January 17th. But that's all the trailers that we have for this week, and the last of the trailers to come out for this year. So the first of the stories was one that was actually going to be discussed last week, but I felt it was, because the subject matter I'm going to be focusing on, it didn't fit right with the rhyming couplets. But this comes on the basis of another little mess up coming to us from the massive company of Disney for messing with another project that is coming out from one of their brands and that they own, and is once again hurting one of my all-time favorite animation studios of Pixar. So Pixar has had a strong year in terms of making the highest grossing film of 2024, Inside Out 2, a proper good second season to its Monsters Inc. TV series of Monsters at Work, and an entertaining series of dream productions focused on the world of Inside Out that replaced the initial series that we're actually going to be talking about that was supposed to come out 2 weeks ago, and this is where the story has been the discussion and discourse about online. So you see, Pixar has another TV series coming out before the release of their next film of Elio, that is coming out in February, known as Win or Lose, that will focus on the team members of a little league baseball team called the Pickles, and see about the stories for each team member for the big day. And for some of the footage I have seen so far, it looks like it will be a decent watch. However, it has seen the case of being affected some part of its story and continued their approach of possibly butchering or censoring stories being caused by Disney that had to do with one of the characters on the stories of being told. Now what I'm on about is, according to some sources, it apparently had to do with one of the characters that was going to talk on the concept and dive into the narrative about gender identity. Now the character was also going to be voiced by a transgender actor or actress before they had been told to be taken out by the studio of Disney, and the character being replaced by a cisgender actor. And to me personally, I do find it saddening that they have to do this, because I feel if anyone that would bring appeal and focus and tell the story well, that it would be open to having proper conversations about the subject matter, it would be this studio. And I believe this may have been that casting call from a few years ago. They were looking for a transgender character as well, and I feel it would have worked. Would appeal to the story, and now having to scrap it and change it makes me worried that this could all mess up the rest of the stories. But it's a case since Disney keeps doing this all the time, and many staffers who have worked on this project, who are still there or have left the company, are saddened this keeps happening to all their projects. Now of course, as I mentioned there, it's not new to the approach that Disney has done this to said studio, as they've done it to many other projects from the past, which includes them being told to reduce Riley being less gay in the recent Inside Out sequel, the initially cut kiss from Lightyear that was put back in after fan backlash that's less than 2 seconds. There's a whole thing that essentially Luca and Alberto from the Luca film was definitely going to be a couple. There's definitely some queer baiting with that one. And the basis with the Turning Red story was that Mei Ling, the main character that turns into the Red Panda, and Miriam, the kind of skater girl, was supposed to be a relationship. I know they kind of hinted it with like the kind of gothy one with the goth chick in the movie. There's kind of hint of that, but it would have worked honestly. I just don't understand why they keep doing it, because Disney's known for queer baiting in particular themselves. They've done it with the live action films since Beauty and the Beast. They keep doing it, and they do it in their animated films as well. So I don't understand why they can do in their own studio films and be fine with it, but when it comes to a studio that can basically do it justice, a bit diverse and all that other stuff, it suddenly gets shot down. I just don't get it. Now, it's a case I do hope that we actually do see the story initially as it was going to be told, maybe as like a lost media form, or maybe just an alternate version that releases on Disney Plus down the line, or like it gets some backlash for this decision by Disney and it gets re-put in down the line in the future, because I feel it needs to be told and give some insightful conversations for kids that may have it, because you're not going to get it from other places, and help provide a deeper insight into a part of a world that gets belittled and censored when they're more than that, and I feel they deserve to get their message known. But with that rant over, I would like to know your own thoughts on this, and do you think it's a good or bad move on Disney for censoring and scrapping the concept, and would you watch the original episode concept if it was available, and do you think Disney will do more of this of their own queer baiting, or will they improve and actually tell more diverse stories eventually? Let me know what you think. It's all down below and we can discuss it there. Now our next story is with an update to a film that for the course of the last few weeks back to back, we were getting some new updates when it came to the casting for this project that was unknown of what was going to be at the time. But now it's time again for more news about, as we talk about Christopher Nolan and we talk about his new film. But this time it's not a casting news, but rather we have an idea now of what his film he is actually working on about. So to catch the people up to speed, before taking on the whole new film here, we had some casting for the film consisting of names of Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Zendaya, Charlize Theron, Lupita Nyong'o, and Robert Pattinson. And for time as well, it was either down between two concepts that was initially the rumored focus of the film, one being a thriller about helicopter pilots and another being a period piece about vampires. But now it's been cleared up that we are going to get a period piece, but it's not going to be about vampires, and more of something from a longer time in the past. As of Monday this week, it was announced by Universal Pictures that Christopher Nolan's new film will be an adaptation of the famous Greek tale of the Odyssey. For those uninitiated, the Odyssey was a series written by Homer, not the Simpsons character, the real person from ancient history, that's divided up into 24 stories and that preceded the book of Iliad that tells the 10-year journey of Odysseus, the king of Ithaca, as he travels home after the Trojan War and encounters multiple perils in the deaths of his crewmates along the way, with known names like Athena, Poseidon, and Zeus being some major characters that are part of the tales, and is one of the most well-known and acclaimed stories in history that's been studied by many. Now, when I heard about this concept, I was intrigued and feel if anyone could bring this epic saga to life in film, it would be Nolan, as innovating with this film using some new IMAX filming technologies and its potential to be a big budget blockbuster epic. Now, at the moment, we don't know who's playing what character, but in most cases, the main lead is be taken up by Matt Damon as Odysseus, and halfway play his wife of Penelope, and I'm going to take a guess Tom Holland will probably play his son, that I'm not sure his name of again. I said to have to find him, but at the moment, it's anyone's guess, and most likely more will join this cast, because it's full of big name gods, creatures, and stuff like that. But all I know is I'm excited for what Nolan will be making with this epic, and we'll see how this all comes about when it sets sails in the cinemas on July 17th of 2026. But with all that, what are your thoughts on this being Nolan's next film, and who do you see play each role from the project, and who else will join the cast? Let me know in the comments below, and we can discuss about who's playing who down there. And the last of the stories for this week is mainly consisting of one concept that often pops up in this section, and that mainly comes down to news of new castings, or in this case the announcement of some updates to projects in renewals, cancellations, and release date changes and announcements. And we have a mix of an update to one project and a mix around of some of the release dates, with one being the biggest complaint on the internet as of the last couple of hours since writing this episode. But let's get into what one has been causing some issues, and we can discuss them being as they go along. So while we can go into the release date announcements, let's talk on the first one that was mentioned this week that's seen some sense of good news, as the confirmation of the recent Amazon Prime series of Secret Level has been confirmed to be renewed for a second season, which I think is a good outcome, as I did like the series that they brought out, even if some episodes I felt could have been had more substance or structure. Like the Mega Man one just starts and then just ends quickly. It's less than 10 minutes, and I was like, this needs to be more. But I feel with covering so many different game series and characters that it has some potential. I hope we'll see some more familiar faces, like, stories based on like Halo, Monster Hunter, Jak and Daxter, other big studio titles, and even the likes of Nintendo titles can get some presence in this. Now, as I know, there's no release date, but I will say either a late next 2025 or 2026 at the earliest for this next season. Hopefully we'll provide more substance and entertainment with the episodes and some continuing stories that I felt a few were building to at the end of their episodes, but we'll see how it comes along. Now, as for the release date changes portion of the story, all of them will be coming from one studio, and that is with the company of Warner Bros. With the first of the date changes, it's not with a delay to two different dates, but rather it's a release date switch around for two upcoming titles from the first half of next year, as it announced that Ryan Coogler's new film of Sinners and Bong Joon-ho's Mickey 17 will be swapping release dates around, with Mickey 17 releasing now on March 7th and Sinners now debuting on April 18th. So for the likes of these two projects, they have been some hot anticipated releases, and it was the case it's been a bit of a journey for Mickey 17, as the film was already supposed to come out back in March of this year before we got a massive delay due to some supposed studio interference. So hopefully the director has stood his ground and releases his full vision. I was even seeing, and this is also seen as a possible award season film for a lot of people, but hopefully these changes will benefit both films and get strong reception at box office. They'll be giving these a watch when they do make their way to cinemas then. Now, our third release date change or announcement is with a film that has no title or plot concept as of this writing, but we have a date for the next film from Birdman and Revenant director of Alejandro González Iñárritu and starring Tom Cruise, and that will be releasing now on October 2nd, 2026, which could bring some interesting appeal and outcome of whatever this project is set to be, given this I think is the next project after Mission Impossible for Tom Cruise, I think. And if you're thinking there was already a Warner Bros. Film releasing on that date, and a big one in particular, you were right, and where the biggest complaints discussion has come from this week. Because the biggest news to come from these changes is that unfortunately, the Batman Part 2 with Robert Pattinson as the Cape Crusader has been delayed again by another year and is now expected to release on October 1st, 2027, making it over 5 years after the first film's release for this to come out. This caused a lot of complaints, and many turned to Gunn, who didn't give a clear answer as to why this was happening, but this is due to the film's script not being fully ready or given a first draft as of yet to him, which I guess is presumably working on a few more projects as well for this universe, like the previously mentioned season 2 of Penguin I talked about last, or talking about 2 years of production to be made in particular as well. Now, do I see this staying in its release date as of now? Maybe, but I do see it again also maybe getting an earlier release date within that year. Maybe for a spring release or in a time frame that's more quiet, as October of that year is apparently a busy one for Warner Bros. In particular. But we will have to see. While I am annoyed by this delay as well, as a few others and some more important people have expressed as well, there is still a case I trust Matt Reeves to tell another captivating story and release another top tier film like the original, because I know he likes character driven stories and won't basically work on something until he's found the right story to it. And hopefully it'll be as like top tier as the original and some of his other films in the past, and hopefully it'll be out sooner rather than later. But with all of that as well, I'd like to know your thoughts on this renewal and changes around of release dates, and do you see any of them getting an earlier release date or delayed further? Let me know what you think of this all down below and we can discuss it there. But with all of that, that's all the news that we have for this week and for this year. And with all of that, that ends episode 84 of Weird Mind Newsroom and the last of the Weird Mind Newsrooms for 2024. This year's been crazy, I will say that. It's been one crazy ass hectic year. There's some ups, there's some downs. There's been some good days, bad days, stressful days, anxiety-filled days, but I'm getting ahead of myself. But I'd like to thank y'all for joining me for this experience. Didn't expect some videos to really pop off as they did, but over time I love seeing them grow, and I appreciate every single person that, takes the time to watch my videos and just, support me from day one. Because I know people out there who have. I'm looking at you in particular. Anyways, enough dilly-dallying, we'll get to that at the end. Let's talk about some updates. So first off, reviews. Deadpool Wolverine is available. If you didn't get it from last week's episode, it has been available now for the last week or so. You can catch it below. I do a really deep, in-depth reference to the comics in that as well, of just me having a fight with my own brain for 30 minutes. So if you want that to watch, you want to see me go nuts, go ahead. Also, case instance, I got 2 reviews currently cooking up as it is. One is finished writing up, the other one is currently just wrapping up the writing as it is. I shall have them recorded probably by tomorrow or Monday, which is of course the double feature roller review of Transformers 1 and the Wild Robot. Hopefully gonna try and have them out by as the first of the videos for 2025. Maybe it push 2024, but we'll see. Don't hold me on that regards. It'll probably be the beginning of 2025. But all that regards as well, more reviews will be coming on as well. One's for Sonic, one's for Wicked, one's for Wholesome, everything all at once. I'll try and get to them. I'll get to them all down. So please bear with me. More long short form reviews will be coming into the new year. Same thing goes well for gameplays. As I mentioned, I've already dropped a Hogwarts Legacy Epilogue Part 2 already there, with the final part of that coming out probably the next few days, which will also have the review for my thoughts on the game in this as well. As well as the case in more Last of Us will be coming along. We have the Left Behind content ready to go, and I gotta finish the rest of it down the line. I got some Mario Wonder gonna start cooking up eventually at some point, as well as the case of Cyberpunk gonna start, as well as some new games like some ones I got for Christmas, like Quiet Place Where the Head, Lies of P, and a few other ones I will probably buy or get from the sales and other stuff down the line. So you're going to see more in the 2025, and if you want particular games you want me to play, let me know down below in the links that are in the description, or just let me know in the comments and I'll try and play them when I can. And in case of long form videos, AI video, and the rewatch-a-thon stuff. So the case is rewatch-a-thon will be coming on eventually. AI one I'm going to get cracking on in particular at the start of the new year, as well as case of working on some of the programs that, like those AI roleplay stuff. The person that suggested this AI video to me, and I will promise to make them at this point, created one for me specifically, but I'm not going to focus on that one. I'm going to use some of her other ones that she's made, because she makes some really good ones, and focus on particular ones and projects like, just the character from Anton Sugar from Lone Country for Old Men, and a few other ones in particular. I'm going to try them out and probably do some videos on it, or find some other ones as well in particular mix in, but we'll see down the line. That's coming eventually. Harmless Boards also coming eventually, and more long form videos will come down the line. So if you have suggestions of ones you want to see me do, or even just like special segment ones as well, let me know in the comments. But anyways, I think I've rambled on long enough there, and I'm going to leave it there for now. So if you enjoy my content and want to see more from me, or you're new here, then simply like and subscribe. I was hoping to reach 100 subs by this year, but maybe at a push we could still get it, but even still, 97 or 98, whatever it's going to be, I appreciate all the support for it, and I thank every single person who subscribed to me, giving me a chance, and checked out my content. So you all out there, I appreciate every single one of you. If I knew the names of every single person there, I would give a moment to thank every single person in every video. As well as case, let me know your thoughts on everything that was discussed this week, from all the new releases, the trailer, and the news stories in this week, and give your thoughts down below, as well as a case instance of your favorite moments from me from 2024, and what you hope to see from me in the new year in particular, because I ain't stopping. But yes, I'd like to thank you all for joining me for this year. It's been an amazing year, and I couldn't have done without you. But I'm going to leave it there for now. So, as always, you all stay being wonderful people, and have a great day every day, doing many great things, and to keep being you, because no one else can do what you do. Now, I've been your host, Sam, and as always, stay being wonderful people, and I shall see you all in the next video, and in 2025. So, you're watching, I'll see you later.